Hi, I'm Cindi McGee, and you're watching Polymer Clay TV. Today's veneer was inspired by this ad that I saw for this eye-catching top. I started by conditioning and rolling some black Primo Sculpey to a setting number 4 on my clay machine. I'm going to be using the Wild Things Silkscreen from Create Along to silkscreen the image onto the black sheet. I place my silkscreen orange side down and give it a little press. I like to take my roller and just rub over it slightly to make sure that it's going to stay in place on that clay. And I'm going to use some gold metallic paint. And here's our silk-screened image. This particular screen is perfect to mimic the pattern in this top, as it sort of was an overlapping animal print, so this works really well. I'm going to let this paint dry on the clay, and I'm going to wash my silk screen before proceeding. Now that the paint is dry, I'm going to continue silk screening on the remainder of the sheet of clay, and I did allow some of those patterns to overlap others as they did in that inspiration top. Now that all of the silk-screened image is dry, I'm going to cut my piece into strips. Now you could use a ruler and cut perfectly measured strips, but I tend to be a bit of a eyeballer when it comes to creating and not quite as technical. So I'm going to just create as evenly spaced strips as I can. I conditioned and rolled some more black Primo to a setting 4 and cut strips the same width as the strips that I cut from the silk screened image. I did also then do the same thing with a sheet of white Primo. I'm using some scrap white clay that I had as the base, and I rolled it to a setting 4 on the clay machine. And I'm going to take my strips and place them over that background piece, alternating as they were in the original inspiration top. You want them to butt up against each other but not overlap. I carefully cut away the pieces that extend beyond my base piece, and then I'm going to use the clay blade to cut at a diagonal along the striped pattern. Again, you want them to be as equally spaced as you can. Feel free to use a ruler if you want them to be exactly the same size pieces. I repeated and made a second sheet, and I cut in the opposite direction as I did the first piece. We're going to be taking those striped strips and making a chevron pattern out of them. To begin, you're going to need 2 strips, one from each directional cut, and you want to butt them up against each other with the ends touching as closely as you can. Make sure your colors are a bit random for this particular veneer. Now, ahead you used a ruler, and the head they all bent exactly the same width. This particular step would be a little easier for you, but I'm okay with manipulating it a bit to get the basic effect that I want. Continue alternating your strips on either side until you've got the sheet that you're happy with, and you have this great, very striking chevron patterned veneer. The striking contrast of the black and white against the golden animal print really was so eye-catching on that original top, and the asymmetrical nature of it is what led me to decide to try to make a chevron effect for my veneer. I'm pretty happy with the finished veneer. I'm going to make some jewelry and possibly some polymer trading coins with my veneer. Need more inspiration? We invite you to join our Polymer Clay Tribe Facebook page. Over 16,000 members sharing inspiring projects every day. For lots more creative polymer clay ideas, visit the Polymer Clay TV blog.